Good
Yeah.
evening, everyone.
Uh,
Thank you for joining our next session, which is on deep dive into Sitecore Authoring and Management API, which will be delivered by Chandrakanth, who is currently a Sitecore architect. Hoping for a great session. Over to you, Chandrakanth.
yeah. Thanks, Kaushik, for giving me this opportunity to present at SUG Kolkata. Yeah. Today I will be presenting on deep dive into Sitecore Authoring and Management API. Before we move into this topic, a quick introduction about myself. I am Chandrakanth Gunda. I am currently working as an architect at Persistent System, and I have around 9+ years of experience in Sitecore. And I'm a Sitecore XM Cloud as well as CDP certified. And most of my career, I have been focusing on upgrade and migration projects. Either it includes upgrading from lower version of Sitecore to higher version, or migration from a different CMS to Sitecore, or moving from MVC to SXA and JSS, or moving from Sitecore XP to XM and Sitecore XM to XM Cloud. Most of my career is focused on that area. And yeah, you can reach out me over LinkedIn, or I maintain a hash note blog. You can follow me there as well. And this is my personal email where you can reach out to me. Yeah, this is about myself. Moving to the agenda of today, that we will get started with actually what is authoring and management GraphQL API, what is its importance, and how we are going to enable the authoring and management API, and how we will be using into it. Then once we understand the importance, then we'll get to know how to create an automation client. Then we'll get to know, based on the credential from automation client, how do we create a token. Then we'll get to know about all the different types of mutations that are currently supported, and we'll go through some of the examples of all the mutations that are available. And then we'll at the end we'll be discussing about certain use cases where all this authoring and management GraphQL API can be used. Right. Moving to the introduction. Yeah. So this is a GraphQL API that is introduced after Sitecore 10.2, the Sitecore Authoring and Management GraphQL API. So the main advantage of this is that it is GraphQL. That means both the request and response can be controlled, and also it is a single endpoint, and it is upgrade free. We no need to worry about any syntax changes as per upgrades. We only have a single endpoint. That single endpoint is your Sitecore instance, then /Sitecore/API/authoring GraphQL/v1, and there is a playground available, that is GraphQL/playground. That is the endpoint. And yeah, before moving to understand why we need authoring and management GraphQL API, we need to understand the significance of it. Previously, if you want to make any bulk content updates on Sitecore or any CRUD operations on Sitecore, we used to rely on Item Web API. But starting from XM Cloud, or now which it is termed as Sitecore AI, it doesn't support Item Web API, or we cannot host our custom APIs in the XM Cloud application. So that option is no longer available. We still have PowerShell to make bulk updates, but for that we need to be in the Sitecore interface or Sitecore CM to do the operations. We can enable Sitecore remote PowerShell, but that has certain uh, security restrictions. In that scenario, Sitecore authoring and management GraphQL API comes into picture, or it helps us with a completely headless kind of API. We no need to have any login to the Sitecore platform, or we no need to be logged in the Sitecore platform to use this GraphQL API. It can be connected with any AI agent, or it can be directly integrated with your existing any custom applications. So that is the advantage. So for any API, we need to know that security is important. So uh, before by default, this API is disabled in XM Cloud. To enable it, we need to create an environment variable called Sitecore GraphQL Explore Playground. If we need to make that value as true, then only this would be enabled, else it would be disabled. Now that we discussed on how to enable the API, we need to understand what is the security of this API. The security of this API is governed by a token. It's a JWT token. Then we need to understand how this token is generated. To generate the token, we need to create we need to have a client ID and a client secret of my authoring environment. From where I do get a client ID and client secret is that I need to register an automation client in the deploy app to get the client ID and client secret. Once I get the client ID and client secret, I will be able to use that to generate the token. So how to create an automation client is that first we need to go to the deploy app, then we need to go to the credential section, and we need to navigate to the environment tab. There we need to select the options like what is the project and what is the environment. Let me quickly show how does it look like. So this is deploy app where I have the credentials section. Inside the credentials section, I can create an automation client. Here I will have the multiple options where I can give the label, description, which project I need to have this automation client, inside that project, which environment I need to have that automation client. Once we give these options, it gives me the client ID and client secret. Client secret can be shown or can be seen only once at the time of creation of the automation client. So we need to make sure that the client secret is copied to a secure place. Later, we will not be able to see that client secret. And yeah, to be able to access this deploy app in your Sitecore AI, you need to be organization admin to be able to access this credential section in the deploy app. So once you create this automation client, you will have this client ID and client secret, and we can use the client ID and client secret to generate the token. We can use the client ID and the client secret to generate the token. So how this token is generated, this is the endpoint to generate the token, auth.sitecorecloud.io/auth/token. This is the endpoint to generate the token, and the request type is post. Here we need to pass the client ID and client secret, and the audience would be api.sitecorecloud.io with the client type of as credentials. Once this uh, token is generated, we will be able to use this token in sending the to my GraphQL endpoint, and I can use the token to retrieve the required information or make the necessary updates on Sitecore. I have made a Postman setup. Let me quickly go to that Postman setup. In this Postman setup, I have created certain an environment where I have this client ID, client secret, and the my Sitecore instance host and authoring token. This client ID and client secret are generated from the are used from the automation client. This is my Sitecore CM authoring instance host, and auth token would be generated. So let me go to my collection. Here I have a method to generate the token, that is generate token. As we have discussed that the endpoint that we need to get the generated token is auth.sitecorecloud. This is the endpoint, and this should be a post method. Inside the audience, I am passing the API/Sitecore Cloud and grant type as client credentials, and client ID and client secret. I am using this as my automation client ID and client secret. Once I get that, the token would be generated. Instead of every time copy pasting the token, what I have done is in the Postman, I have created a post script here that automatically updates the environment. Once I hit this endpoint, it will be updating the auth token endpoint. So for each request, I no need to go and manually update the access token. I can use this access token directly. by default, this access token is valid for 24 hours. Like within 24 hours, if you request another token, you will get the same token again. So you can see that it's less than 24 hours, and there is a refresh token available to get the updated token as well. So this is how we generate the token. Now, using the authoring API, let's see how do we create a item in Sitecore. For example, if I go to this create a item, so as I mentioned, my GraphQL endpoint for any operation, my GraphQL endpoint would be my host slash Sitecore slash API slash authoring slash GraphQL slash v1. This is my endpoint, always the same endpoint. Only the body would change based on the requirement. Here, this is a create item, so I would be using create item mutation. Like that, for each operation we have different types of mutations. So while sending this, the option should be GraphQL. uh, uh, we will be sending as a GraphQL request. So this is an example of create item mutation, where we are sending this as some input parameters, which database I need to create the item. Always it would be a master, and which language I need to create the item, and the ID of the parent. Let me quickly show my Sitecore instance. So this is my Sitecore instance. Here, this is my item ID 1102. So this is under this, I want to create a new item. So this is my parent item ID, and I want to create using this particular template 76 ID. So I'm using that parent item ID as that one, and using this template ID. And here I need to give the item name. For example, I am giving as SQG Kolkata item creation, and I can give the field values. Like it's not necessary that we need to give all the fields, but we need to give whatever the fields that I want to have. All the fields I can here. Like here I am giving title session on authoring API and text as hello world. And as of now, if you look at the Sitecore, uh, we don't see under home, we don't see that SUG Kolkata item. Let me run this. So it created a 200 status code, and if I go back to my Sitecore instance, I see this item is created. So this is the beauty of authoring API. Without having any access to Sitecore, just by using the GraphQL endpoint, I was able to create the item in Sitecore with the required fields. And also I can configure what is the response format. Once the item is created, what all the parameters I need to give. So I need to know which ID that item is created. So it gives me the item is created with this 669 ID. If I look back in Sitecore, that is the ID of that. And also it gives, I mean, whatever the options that I need, it will be giving that option. I mean, whatever the output type I give, accordingly, it will be giving. So this is the item create mutation. Uh, yeah. Now we know that item is created by looking into the Sitecore interface, but whenever we are connecting with any kind of automation client, that automation client will not have access to Sitecore. So if it needs to check if this item is really created or not, then we will be using this item query, copying this in the get item. In the get item, I can pass the item ID, language, and version. So here I'm giving this item query, where item ID, the database is master, and item ID is this. So this is an item search query, and when I do that item search query, I get the details of the items. In this way, I can create the item using the create item mutation, and using the item search query, I can see if my item is created correctly or not. Once item is created, if I wanted to update that data of this, then I can use this update item mutation here. In that, I need to pass again the same parameters, database item ID. Let me give the item ID that is created just now, and language en and version 1. So the title could be whatever the updated title, and during the update item, if I want to reset back to the fallback value, then I have the option to the reset true, that it will reset back to the value that is coming from the standard value. Or if you wanted to update any specific value, you can update that specific value, and we can define what should be the response of that GraphQL. Once that item is updated, I want to know all the fields name and value. So once I updated title, maybe at 421, just to see that this is so once this is done, if I go back to my Sitecore and look at the my SUG Kolkata item, we can see that the title is updated and text is resetted to the standard value. So that is how update query works here. And if I want to rename, so for updation, we have this update mutation that can be used. And to rename the item, we have rename mutation or rename item mutation, where we can use the rename mutation. Here I can use SUG Kolkata new. So if I am using this new item name, new name is the parameter that updates the item in Sitecore. So once this is done, item is updated, and I can again use this get item query to see. Previously it was SUG Kolkata item creation now, and if I am renaming it and getting the item, I can see this SQG Kolkata new, and I see that item is updated. And if I want to move the item from one location to another location, I can use the move item. Let me quickly. So again, this is the move item mutation that is available. Here we need to pass the item ID of which I want to move the item ID, and we need to give the target parent path, or we also have the target parent ID parameter. One of those can be used to move from the location to the another location. Let's see if I have any other here. For example, if I want to move from here to here, I'll use this sample item GQL path, and yeah, the home sample item GQL. Yeah, using this, my item, the source item, would be moved from this location to the respective location. So before this move operation, my this is directly a child of home item. Was this is moved, it will be going to the sample item SUG Kolkata new. So this is how the mu mutation works. Next mutation is the copy item mutation. Here it's similar to mu mutation. Only thing is that we'll use copy mutation. Sorry, copy item mutation. Same, we need to pass the item ID Suppose if I want to copy this particular sample item UKL F3D, so that is the item I want to copy, and I want to copy to this test template. Inside this test template, let me copy the item path of the test template. Our target parent ID would be E46. Let me give this as E46. Then there is an option deep copy. So the purpose of this deep copy is that if I want to copy along with the children, I would be using the deep copy. But if I want to only copy the parent item, we need to use a deep copy as false. This is very much convenient. Like sometimes we need to copy an item from one location to another location, but it has lot of children. And if I want to only copy the parent item excluding the children, we need to keep this deep copy as false. So let me run this with the deep copy as false. If I go back to my home, so under the test table, we had this without deep copy, the child item is not present. Suppose if I make it as with deep copy and deep copy as true, now if I refresh, I with deep copy, the child item is also created. So in the copy mutation, we need to use this deep copy to see if I need to create with the children items or not. Similarly, we have a mutation available for delete item, where we need to use the delete item mutation, where we need to give the item ID. Always remember to give the item path. Don't give the item path, give item ID. This deletes the item from the Sitecore. And there is an option, additional option here while deleting, that is permanently. So if I say permanently equal to true, that item would be deleted from the recycle bin as well. But generally it is not recommended to use it, so that if I need to revert back, I can revert it back from the recycle bin. So permanently should be always false. So this is an additional parameter that helps us if there is a complete cleanup activity happening and we don't want to restore it at any cost, then we can use the permanent option as true. Similarly, if already created item, if I wanted to add a language version or numbered version, I can use add item version query. Yeah, this is add item version, where we need to pass the item ID. For example, I'm passing the item ID of for example, I'm giving the item ID of this item ID. This is my item ID, and I currently, for this, we don't have any PT version created. Portuguese version is not created. Once I run this query or this API endpoint, it says success status code. And if I go back to my thing, or let me refresh this. Yeah, so PT, this is different PT. PT language is created in Sitecore. And yeah, this is about adding the item version. And if I wanted to delete specific version, then I have this delete item version as well. We need to be careful while delete version, because we need to mention both the numbered version as well as the language version. if we don't specify which numbered version or which language version that you want to delete, there is a chance that it would delete the wrong item. So whenever we are using delete item version, we need to make sure we are using correct language version, and language parameter and item version are passed correctly. So in this way, using this item mutations, will what you call we can perform all the CRUD operations on Sitecore by using the authoring API without being logged into Sitecore, or completely API driven. We can perform the options, or we can perform the operations on Sitecore. So this is all about item related. Similarly, we have certain workflow related things where if I wanted to set the default workflow, I can use the start workflow to set the default workflow here. So for that, we have a mutation called start workflow, where we need to input the item ID as well as the language and version, because this is specific to the particular version and particular language for this workflow. So we need to have this language and version that would keep the workflow, or set that initiate the workflow for that item. Similarly, if there are any workflow commands that needs to be executed, we need to use this execute workflow command, execute workflow mutation. This is the execute workflow. So for example, if I have approve, like whenever an item is in a draft state, for example, let's assume that this item workflow is in the draft state. So in the draft state, I have the options like submit. So this is a submit option. So instead of triggering it from this, this submit has a this command. This is a command, and it has a command ID. If I use that command ID, for example, I'm using this item ID on the item ID this, and English version 1, English version 1, I am running the command cfd, which is nothing but the submit command. So once I use this command or this thing, it says that workflow is completed. And if I now, previously it was draft state, like previously it was draft state, just if I refresh that item by going back, so it went to the awaiting approval. Now if I want to go to this approval, approve or reject, then I need to see the command ID under the system workflows, basic workflow, not basic workflow, which workflow is that? Sample workflow. Whenever is it in the approval workflow, this is the command that needs to be used. Let me use this command ID here. Okay, so I'm running the command approve here on this item. So before running that on this item, the workflow state is awaiting approval. Now once I run this API, we see that the state is converted to approved state. In this way, we can use the execute workflow mutation to run any publishing related command that can be done. So this is how workflow related. Similarly, we have publishing related mutations, like one of them is publish item mutation. So this is the publish item mutation. Here I am passing the options like which language I need to publish, and if I need to publish a republish or a smart publish, and if I wanted to do a related items publish or not, and if I wanted to publish along with sub items or not, and which is a target item I need to publish, source database and target database. In XM Cloud, always the source database would be master and target database would be experience edge. So using this mutation, we can run the publish item mutation. Yeah, so this is if I want to publish this specific item, this is how I use the publish item mutation to publish in the respective language with publishing options like publishing item mode and related terms. And yeah, in the publishing, sometimes there could be a requirement that I need to publish specific items in specific languages, or there could be requirement that I need to publish select. I don't want to publish all the children item. I want to publish only the selected items. In that case, what we can do is that we'll use this publish options, where under the options we can pass multiple options like I want to this item I wanted to do a republish, and another item I wanted to do a smart publish, and like that this item I want to publish in English, and if another item I want to publish in another languages. If there are multiple, each of the publishing operation we have different publishing options. In that case, we'll use this publish with options mutation, where under the options we can specify different options for different item IDs. So this is how we can use publish with operations. Like suppose there could be some scenario that I want to publish 5 to 6 items. Some of them are smart publish and some of them are republish. Then I can use this. Or some of them I want to publish with sub items, some I don't want to publish with sub items. Then this kind of publish with options would be helpful. Similarly, we have this publish specific items in specific languages. For that also we have a mutation, that is publish language specific items. That is the mutation that is available, and here we can define like item ID and languages. So this item should be published in this language. So options are same and languages are varying for specific items. Then we would be using publish specific item in specific languages, where we in the items to publish array we can specify item ID, language, item like here all are English, but we can update this to suit our requirement. In this way we have 3 different variations of publish item. If I normal publish item, or if I want to publish multiple items and each item has different options, then I would be using publish with options. Or if I want to publish different items in different languages, then I would be using publish language specific items. So this is how other mutation that would be using. And there could be scenarios where we have initiated a bulk item publish, which is halting all other publishing operations. And if I want to cancel that publish operation, when publish this is created, we'll get a publishing item ID. Using that publishing item ID, we can use the cancel publishing mutation to cancel that respective publishing job. And similarly, we can use the same operation, check the publishing status. Like we need to pass the publishing operation ID with the cancel publishing mutation to cancel an already initiated publishing job. Or if I want to check if the publishing is already completed or not, I would be using this publishing status mutation to check if the status publishing is queued or it is running or it is completed. So based on that, we can get the status of the publishing. So this is publishing status. So these are the different publishing related mutations that are available. Similarly, there could be, these are generally from the authoring perspective, some of the mutations that are available. And from the management perspective, there are like certain indexes that are certain mutations that are available. Like if I wanted to populate the indexes, we have a mutation for populate indexes. And if I want to rebuild the links database, I have a mutation for that. Similarly, uh, rebuilding indexes and clean up databases, like that we have mutations for each of these mutations that are available. So this is how the syntax look like for the population management. We need to specify the index name, and it would return us the job name that would be that is initiating that. Similarly, we can rebuild the links database or rebuild indexes cleanup operations. Like that, we have management operations for the user specific as well. Like we can create a user, we can add a roles to the user, update the permissions of the user. Like that, there are other mutations that are available. I have not listed here because those are security to related, and usually those should be controlled not via any API or that. Those should be manually recorded, so I have not listed. Similarly, we have mutations available to create and update templates. Like for example, if I want to create a template in Sitecore, I have this mutation available, that is create template, where I need to pass certain fields input, or what is the name, and under which template I need to, or which folder I need to create. And first we need to give the section name. Inside the section name, we need to give the fields and field types. Like that, we can create the templates. And if there is already created template, we can use the updated template. But usually with Sitecore AI or Sitecore XM Cloud, templates are kind of source controlled, or the resource files. Usually that should be done as an items as resource file. We should not be creating this using mutations. But if there is any specific scenario where we are doing a mass migration, or we need to create templates programmatically, then we can use. But if on any this, it is not recommended to use this to create or update template mutations on any higher environments or production environments, because usually in XM Cloud or Sitecore AI, the recommended approach for templates is items as resource. This would be creating as items as a database items, so which is the that is recommended. But whenever you are creating a bulk templates from an Excel sheet, if you want to create, in that case we can use the create template. Similarly, for the media items also, we have mutation where we can uh, we can first upload first generate a pre-signed URL. First give the using the upload media, we can give the parameters required for my media items, like what is the location where the new media item should be uploaded. And yeah, so this is the mutation update item upload media, where the path where my item should be uploaded. This is my mutation. It will generate a pre-signed upload URL. Using that pre-signed upload URL, we can upload the media item, so that would be added to our media library. So this is how the media related mutations works. So these are some kind of theoretical, or what you call some understanding. This gives us understanding on what are the different types of mutations that are available. uh, now that we understood what are the different types of mutations available, particularly Sitecore, there are some additional as well. I have listed only the imported ones. uh, let's try to understand some scenarios where these mutations can be used. So some of the use cases could be where I can use this authoring is language translation. For example, I use the uh, get item query to get the item details, send it to the translation. Then once the translations are back, I'll use the create item version query to create create language versions in Sitecore completely behind the scenes without logging into Sitecore. That is one use case where this can be used. Second using is that if my if I have dependency with some third party systems where my data should be fetched from a third party system frequently and synced to my Sitecore CMS, that could be one use case. And there could be scheduled maintenance operations like reindexing the databases or populating the Solar schema or really rebuilding the link database. We can schedule those jobs using this management mutation. And if there is an access management system like identity access or sale point, and if I want to sync the roles, user roles from that system to Sitecore, I can use that, or any kind of agentic automations. So this is the flow. Like whenever uh, a user creates an item language version, what we can do is using the Sitecore webhooks, create an event, use that data to get the data by using that event as an initiator. By using the GraphQL, we'll query the item data, we'll call the open API to get the language translations of that JSON. Once the translations we got from the open API, we'll use the create item version GraphQL mutation to create the items in Sitecore. This is one use case. The other use case could be scheduled publishing. Like if I want to schedule the publish, I'll be using the publish mutations to schedule the publish in Sitecore. And also, if I want to use the regularly sync with third-party systems, that is one use case. I'll try to showcase a demo on how we can use the publish mutations to schedule the items in Sitecore. So I have created a kind of a Hangfire application. So the Hangfire is nothing but a kind of a library that helps us in scheduling. So I use that Hangfire for scheduling, and I use the publishing related mutations for publishing the operations. So for example, my time is 4:47. Just to give the demonstration purpose, I'll give this time as maybe 4:50. I need to publish my item. Let's say, what is my item that I created just now? Maybe let's say I'll publish this test template, and I wanted to do a republish of that item along with this. I don't want to publish related items, and I wanted to publish. Let the display name would be testing publish mutation, and let me schedule that. So the job is scheduled, and I can see my all the scheduled jobs in the Hangfire dashboard, like credentials. So this is my Hangfire dashboard, where it gives all the information about how many are succeeded and how many are scheduled. So currently I have scheduled these two operations. So this would be in few minutes, which I have scheduled. That would be in few minutes, that would be scheduled. Once that is run, we should be seeing that publish operation in Sitecore. So we can see this job details as well. So here I'm using this options like publish at and root item path, and all the options I am passing. I can check if this, now that this has already initiated, I'll check the publishing dashboard to see if that. Yeah, so this is the mutation that I have initiated, test publishing mutation. So it started running. So in this way, I had created a custom .NET application by using the client ID, client secret, and my Sitecore authoring endpoint. I created a sample application where I can, that gives me the option to schedule the publishing operations, which runs the jobs in the background and gives me the dashboard to see. So here I don't have kind of any environment setup, but this can be extended to add the environments and configure the client ID and client secret per specific environment. And while scheduling, we can select the environment where we can schedule. So this is one of the use case where we can extend this authoring API to you create a scheduling application. Yeah, so this is all about some uh, things about authoring and management. So yeah, I'm done. Anyone has any questions?
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much, Chandrakanth, for explaining too deep about this topic. And let's see if we have any question from anyone.
Yeah.
Okay, in the chats, I can see none. So, guys, if you have any questions, please let us know. Okay, we'll take it as no. But in case if you need any assistance, you can ping us or Chandrakant directly on LinkedIn. Um, and thank you everyone for joining this session. Have a great day ahead.
Yeah. If anyone needs the source code to this scheduling application or the Postman collection, they are available in GitHub. If you can ping me, I will share those links as well.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining. Cheers. Bye.